What's going on, my dollar bills? D Money here, and I got a little story for us today, so let's hop right in. So this story takes place about 2.5 years ago, approximately. So I had this art class where basically you just drew anything, but you had like main objectives. And we had a seating chart, and we had about 4, maybe 5 big tables just set up around the room. And so we were all given assigned seats, of course. I was assigned to one of the tables in the back of the room, and I just gotta say right now that was a fun table. And so the people around this table with me, they were all like very creative in their own different ways. There was one girl that was good with styling her hair and eyes in different ways. Like, she was the first person to introduce me to like colored contacts to make her eyes look completely white or completely red. She came to school a couple times with different colored hair. There was one guy that was really big into like Star Wars on VHS and other types of films like that. And a few other people I can't quite remember off the top of my head right now, but maybe they'll play into the story a bit more as I tell. In this art class, I wasn't really with anyone I knew because this was my freshman year and I was still getting to know people. And from the people in my homeroom, none of them were in that class, so I was basically the only person I knew besides the teacher and the teacher's assistant in that room. And so I sort of just really stuck to myself a little bit. It was basically just me and my art for like the first week, and because of that, I didn't really talk or say anything to any of the other people around me, and that ended up starting my reputation in that class. One day I was just sitting in class just doodling, starting my assignment, and I just hear to the side of me, "Yeah, I know, right?" And then there's this kid right here who we've never even heard him speak before. And I just look up, and they're all staring at me, and I'm thinking, yeah, I guess I never really did speak to them before. And so they started asking me, "What's your name?" And I was thinking to myself, yeah, it's not going to be that simple. I can't speak at all. This is going to be funny. And so we had an early on assignment where we had to do portfolios for us, and the covers had to have our names, but we had to incorporate them into a design and have our letters scrambled around. And so I basically just held up my portfolio and said, well, I didn't say anything. I basically just pointed to the letters on it. And they were trying to figure it out. They're like, "Alright, we've almost got it." And then the teacher's assistant ended up coming over, and they asked her what was my name, and I didn't tell her either. She actually had to look at my portfolio too, and then she figured it out. She said it to them, and they're like, "Oh, this kid can't even tell us his name, wow." But then that escalated into a ongoing joke between me and that whole table. So I basically didn't talk to them, but I like chuckle whenever a joke was said. Whenever they try and talk to me, I just nod or shook my head, thumbs up, thumbs down, or like the iffy sign. And yeah, it was just so hilarious. And there was only really 1 or 2 times they really caught me speaking. I didn't even like say "here" for attendance. I just waved my arms up, and the teacher would expect to see me every time. But one of the times that they did hear me speak was when I went up to the teacher right when class ended, and I had recently went on a trip to this zoo where they have red pandas, and my teacher at the time was a huge red pandas fanatic, so I thought I'd show her the pictures that I took, and I was narrating the pictures as I was going through, and I turn around and I see the whole table is just smiling and staring at me, and in my head I was thinking, ah shoot, they've heard me speak. What do I do now? I ended up just smiling and just dashing out of the room. And whenever I would see them at lunch and they'd be walking by, if I'm in the middle of a joke or talking, immediate silence. And everyone around me would be like, why did you just go silent all of a sudden? And I wouldn't speak until they were gone, and then after they had passed, I would explain what had happened. What had happened, cuz eventually the time came around to where I had to move away from the city to where I am now, and sadly I did have to leave that art class. But the thing is, because I didn't speak in that class, I didn't tell any of them that I was just moving away or leaving the class. So that means that I just disappeared, and none of them ever like heard or know what had happened to me. Like, some may know, like, if they asked a teacher, but I just think that I disappeared from that class and they had no clue. So yeah, it's a pretty fun class. It was challenging though, not speaking but also wanting to describe my art, ask questions on how I do certain things, but it was worth it.